was planning to give the khatara tomorrow, but the ayat in Salah al-Fajr, a very beautiful ayat, Allah, very touching ayat, about the believing of the family of Pharaoh. So I thought that let us study this ayat quickly, inshallah, from Surah Ghafir, the forgiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ghafir Yaghfir, or the other name is Al-Mu'min, the believer. Al-Mu'min also has two meanings. The Mu'min is a believer for us as a believing people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Mu'min Al-Muhaymin, the one who gives faith. The one who gives faith. If you would like to follow along on your device, if you like Surah Quran, that will be beautiful. The ayat are very beautiful. So Surah Ghafir is number 40, and the ayat from 23 like to 46. 23 to 46. Very beautiful ayat, very touching. The believing of the family of Pharaoh. We know that Pharaoh was a bad enemy. He claimed to be a god. But his wife was a Muslim. Right? امرأة فرعون إذ قالت in Surah Al-Tahrim رب ابن لي عندك بيتا في الجنة. Allah gives the example of the believing woman of the mother, the wife of Pharaoh. She said, oh Allah, build a palace for me in Jannah and rescue and save me from Pharaoh and his bad deeds. We know also from the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that there was another hidden believing lady, Mashitat al-Fir'aun. The lady who would take care of the daughter of Pharaoh. She used to comb her hair. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that in night of Isra wal Mi'raj, when he smelled the fragments of the bones of that lady and her children, they were killed. Now this one is another believing person from the family of Pharaoh. We don't know his name. We don't know what happened to him. It's not mentioned. But when Musa came to talk to Pharaoh and tell him about Islam, and Pharaoh tried to make fun of him in the beginning and try to threaten him. وقال رجل مؤمن من آل فرعون, and this is in the ayah 28. وقال رجل مؤمن من آل فرعون يكتم إيمانه, a believing man from Pharaoh's people who was hiding his faith. So some scholars said he was Pharaoh's cousin and a courtier, somebody who was around Pharaoh, even his palace. He was hiding his faith. Again, Quran is not a book of history. Would not satisfy you if you're looking for a story like in history books when you have the date and the name and some insignificant details. You will not find them there in the Quran. The Quran is a book of guidance and hidayah. What is mentioned is what is needed. So just somebody. We don't know the name. We don't know what happened to him even after that. But we know that he defended Musa. And his defending to Musa in the beginning, it was lightly, without exposing himself. Later on, it seems that maybe over days, we don't know, he kind of exposed himself because he said, I'm guiding you to guidance. I want you to guidance. And you are pulling me or guiding me to the hellfire. But in the beginning, he was hiding his faith. And he said, أَتَقْتُلُونَ رَجُلًا أَنْ يَقُولَ رَبِّيَ اللَّهُ. You're going to kill a person just because he says, my Lord is Allah. وَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ مِنْ رَبِّكُمْ, and he brought a proof for you. If he is a liar, look how he introduced lightly. He said, if he is a liar. He's talking about Sayyidina Musa. He did not say he's truthful in the beginning. He did not say. He said, if he is a liar, he will ruin himself and the bad consequence will come on him. But if he is truthful, then يُصِبْكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي يَعِدُكُمْ, then you will be touched by what he is promising you of punishment. And that happened later on when Pharaoh and his people were drowned. يَا قَوْمِ لَكُمُ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ ظَاهِرِينَ. He said, oh my people, you have, this is the next ayah 29, that all my people, authority belongs to you today. Reigning supreme in the land. You have the power in the land. But who will rescue us from Allah's punishment in the next? Now apply that, in any situation. In any situation, somebody who has authority and you cannot argue with him now, but who will rescue him in the next life? The ayat in the Quran are very beautiful, and the story of Sayyidina Musa is mentioned in the Quran multiple times. The most prophet who is mentioned in the Quran is Sayyidina Musa, more than 100 times Sayyidina Musa. And the story of Pharaoh is mentioned multiple times in the Quran. Scholars say, why? Two reasons at least. Number one, Banu Israel was the previous nation that was the preferred nation before this ummah for followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the second largest ummah that will go to Jannah will be Banu Israel, the believing people of Banu Israel. They lived for many, many generations. Number two, the scenarios are repeated in life. The scenarios are repeated in life. Probably like this scenario. When somebody is hiding his faith and he has to defend somebody before he is killed in front of him. Perhaps it will happen to any Muslim. Someone who is arrogantly claiming that he's a god or that he behaves like a god, then somebody is coming to tell him. You have a wealthy person that you cannot argue and he is very arrogant, like Qarun. This is from the Surah Sayyidina Musa. You have the minister who supports Pharaoh, whatever Pharaoh is living. You have the Sahara, magicians, scholars and scientists and the elitists, the most educated people coming to support the authority. So these scenarios are repeated. Because of that, the story is repeated in the Quran multiple times. So he told them, now you have the power, but who will rescue you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? But look at the answer of Pharaoh towards the end of the ayah 29. قال فرعون ما أريكم إلا ما أرى. I am telling you only what I believe, and I am leading you only to the way of guidance. So this is Pharaoh says, I am guiding you. And I am telling you, I dictate you. You have to see the truth that I see. You have to see what is right that as I see it. Like a person, arrogant person. Subhanallah, the ayat in the Quran are very beautiful. When we try to explain them sometimes or something, they are not as beautiful as they are presented in Islam. Today in the morning I was reading, I sent an article to the newspaper 2 weeks ago, and finally they published it about Sayyidina Dawood with the two opponents. To be just and fair for religious people, they put it in the religious paper. To be fair and not to judge others, especially at the times of wars and or expecting prophecies and etc. Like a little bit indirectly about Palestine, but because they wanted to shorten it, became not interesting. Subhanallah. I said, already it was not interesting, but now it is even worse. When they remove some portions of it. But if you like, just read the ayat in the Quran themselves and reflect. Don't read them quickly. Just reflect. So if you come today after you go home, read the ayat, Surah Ghafir, Surah 40, and around 40. Start at 23, a little bit before 40, and end with 46. Very beautiful ayat. If you want to extend a little bit after 46, because it talks about the conversation in the hellfire. وَقَالَ الَّذِي آمَنَ, next ayah, ayah 30. And the one who believed continued, he said, Ya qawmi, I truly fear for you the doom, the destruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the fate of the people of Nuh, those who were destroyed, and Ad and Thamud, and those after them. And Allah is not wronging anyone. Then again, O my people, he kept repeating, O my people. Inni akhafu alaykum yawm al-tanad, I will fear for you the day of judgment when everybody will be called out. Yawma tuwalluna mudbirin, the day when you will try in vain to turn your backs and run away with no one to protect you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You try to escape, but no one will protect. And whoever Allah leaves to stray will be left with no guidance. Then he told them that, O Banu Israel, remember that Yusuf was a king in Egypt, right? Sayyidina Yusuf was a king and a prophet, and most likely he influenced the people, right? After Sayyidina Yusuf took Bani Israel to Egypt. Sayyidina Musa took Bani Israel out of Egypt. So Surah Al-Isra is related to Surah Yusuf. Even the number of ayat, 111. I mentioned that before. Surah Yusuf and Banu Israel going to Egypt. Surah Al-Isra coming out at the end of Banu Israel, the end of their history. That is the beginning of their history. This is the end of their history. So he's telling them here that you were not expecting any prophet after Yusuf. You were not expecting. But Musa came as a prophet, a true prophet. Again, it's like their expectations. Like when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to them, they were expecting a prophet to be from them, but he turned to be like from the Arabs. Then he gave some advice. But what was the answer of Pharaoh? Ayah 36. Now the answer of Pharaoh, arrogant, and he says, look how he responds. وقال فرعون. Pharaoh ordered, O Haman, his minister. Corrupted minister with corrupted authority, corrupted ruler, and he chose a corrupted minister with him. Look how that scenario is repeated, in history. How many times? Corrupted ruler, taking a corrupted minister who will obey him completely, doing anything. Give him the impression that everything is good. We obey you, we love you. All of these things. So وقال فرعون. Fir'aun ordered, O Haman, build me a high tower, so I may reach the pathway leading up to heavens and look for the God of Moses. I'm saying, God, let me look for this God. Just build for me high, building. Some scholars, which is a weak opinion, said it is the pyramids in Egypt. Doesn't make sense. It took years and years to build. And he did not mean it, actually, that built for me. Just he's making fun of Moses, a sarcastic person, not serious. And I think Pharaoh is saying that I think that he's a liar, Musa. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, but Pharaoh's evil deeds were made so appealing to him. Somebody's doing evil and he thinks that this is good. Now he's doing evil and it is appealing to him. Yeah, this is the right thing. This is the right answer. You're smart in answering him. This is the right decision to do. Torture them, do that, all of that. But the believer person continued to advise. This is ayah 38. وَقَالَ الَّذِي آمَنَ. And the man who believed argued, O my people, look how nice he is to them, subhanAllah. O my people, follow me, and I will lead you to the way of guidance. O my people, this worldly life, this is a lesson for everyone. This worldly life is only a fleeting enjoyment, whereas the hereafter is truly the home of settlement. This is ayah 40 in surah number 40. Some scholars believe in the numbers and they say it is for a wisdom. And 40 is a very important number in the Quran, right? When he reaches the age of 40, that is the prime of your life. This is the prime of your life. If you are 40 or around it. This is the maximum of your strength, mentally and physically. 40. And this is ayah 40. And this is surah 40 example, a role model of a believing person. Whoever, next ayah 41, whoever does an evil deed will only be paid back with its equivalent. One sin, it will be written down as one sin. And whoever does good, whether a male or a female, and is a believer, this is a condition. Believing in Allah and doing good. آمنوا وعملوا صالحات. They will enter paradise where they will be provided for without limit. Then he continued, O my people, how is it that I invite you to salvation while you invite me to the fire? You invite me to believe in Allah. You invite me to disbelieve in Allah and associate with Him what I have no knowledge of, while I invite you to the Almighty. So here he seems to expose his faith finally, but he cannot hold it anymore. Now we're filling in the gaps, right? This is what happens, in any story. If they try to do a historical novel or a story, or any movie or any film, there are always some gaps that the author will fill in, expecting that this is what happened, right? In the beginning, he said, if Musa is a liar, he will destroy himself. But if he's the truth, you will not be hurtful. He did not say, I am a believing. We know that he was believing, hiding his faith, right? This is the beginning of the ayah. يَكْتُمُ إِيمَانَهُ. He was hiding his faith. Now, he's saying, I'm inviting you, Al-Aziz Al-Ghaffar, the Almighty, the All-Forgiving. So maybe it happens after days, after back and forth. So he has to say it directly. Come on, man. I'm telling you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing is mentioned about him. What happened to him? Nothing. Was he killed? Probably, or most likely. He's a courtier in front of Pharaoh. Or he was, jailed forever somewhere. He hid him, Pharaoh. Nobody knew about him. Allah knows what happened to him. من عمل Okay, then he said, لا جرم أن مثلا, he talked about shirk, that you invite me to worship anyone else like Fir'aun, he will not help me in this dunya or in the hereafter. وأن مردنا إلى Allah, all of us will go back to Allah. All of us will go back to Allah. Then the next ayah, ayah 44, فستذكرون ما أقول لكم. You will remember what I say to you. And this is a very powerful statement that we use it in our life. And he said, you will see and you will remember what I advise you. We say to a person that we give him advice, you see the result. And we tell anyone that in the future you will see. You will see it. You will remember my words. Mark my words. You will remember what I say to you, and I entrust my affairs to Allah. Surely Allah is all seeing of all his servants. So clearly here he declares his faith in front of them. So Allah protected him from the evil of their schemes. Sorry, I said that we don't know. This ayah, Allah protected him from their schemes, from their planning. So I override what I mentioned earlier. This ayah says that he was saved. فَوَقَاهُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِ مَا مَكَرُوا. So Allah saved him. We don't know how. Allah saved him. We don't know how. Did he run away with Musa? Possibly. Did he just disappear? Pharaoh changed his mind? Allah knows. But he was saved. النار يعرضون عليها. What happened to the آل فرعون? And the family of Pharaoh, the people of Pharaoh were overwhelmed by an evil punishment. They are exposed to the fire in their graves. The word graves here is not mentioned. This is the translator adding it. The madhahib are translating. Okay, so madhahib are translators. So whatever madhab you are following the translation. So they are exposed to the fire morning and evening, and on the day of judgment they will be established. They will go to the hellfire. It will be said that they will go to the hellfire. So now they are exposed to the hellfire morning and evening. The scholars say in their graves, in their graves. And this is maybe one of the strongest evidence that the adab al-qabr, that there is punishment in the hellfire and the grave. Because the family of Pharaoh are exposed morning and evening. And on Yawm al-Qiyamah, so there is a different adab on Yawm al-Qiyamah. أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب, that admit Pharaoh's family into the harshest punishment of hell. Al here, what does it mean, Al? Al means family. But what does it mean, family? Family, lineage, biologically like line, a tree. Anyone who believes in Pharaoh, so his soldiers, his ministers, even if they are not family members. Then the next ayat talking about followers and leaders in the hellfire. Everybody is blaming other people. The followers tell the leaders that you brought us to the hellfire. And the leaders will say, oh, we are all in it. So the next ayat a little bit about the hellfire. Then if you go to ayah 51, إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرُ رُسُلَنَا. These are the last ayat that I recited in Salat al-Fajr. إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرُ رُسُلَنَا وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. We certainly help our messengers and support them and the believers. May Allah make it easy for the people of Israel. إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرُ رُسُلَنَا. We support our messengers and the believers. All messengers were rescued, all believers were rescued? No. Some prophets and messengers were killed. Many believers were killed, right? There are exceptions. People of al-Ukhdud, right? The story that we know, the trench, when they were all thrown in the trench, and the boy who invited them to Islam. But in general, Allah rescues his prophets and messengers and the believing people. And he decides out of wisdom. He diversifies his creation. He diversifies his answers to the dua. And he diversifies the decision that he will take to the people. Pharaoh. So the believing person of Pharaoh was rescued, but not the lady who used to come. Neither her kids. They were all burnt in a boiling pot. A boiling pot. They throw her kids one by one in front of the mother. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّا لَنَنْصُرُ رُسُلَنَا وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. We will support our believing messengers and prophets both in this worldly life and on the day of judgment. On that day, the ظالمون, the wrongdoers, will have no excuse. Their excuses will not be accepted, and they will have the la'na, they will be cursed, وَلَهُمْ سُوءُ الدَّارِ, and they will have the worst place to stay in. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. So this is, a nice story that you can read. It's not very popular among people who knows the story of Sayyidina Yusuf and other stories, but this is a very nice story, an argument of a believing person of the family of Pharaoh. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all of us believing people. Surah Ghafir is the surah of the believer, Al-Mu'min, surah number 40. جزاكم الله كل خير بارك الله فيكم.